Hello, you're here today with Miss Libby Rose and welcome to the Make My Day session. Now today I'm going to look at a batwing top. I'm going to take a pattern off of the top that I've already got. So I lay out my design here and I can work out that I've got seams round the bottom and a seam on the top. It's quite different than how I would normally put in a sleeve on a normal top. So this is just quite different thinking, but it's fine. It comes in smaller around my waist, so it tucks in, but the sleeves come out. So that's what makes it into the batwing. Now I'm going to fold it in half. See that? And I've just folded that in half. Okay, so that I can now cut this. When I lay out my fabric, I can cut this on the fold so that I know my center fold is here, and then I just cut around this shape. Okay, so then I've got one piece on the fold, and then I'll do that again to make two on the fold. Okay, so when you're laying out, you want to get it as flat as possible. If you're making from a top you've already got at home, then wash it. Make sure it's nice and clean. Because sometimes if it's not clean, it can change the shape. So if you wash it, press it, and then it's nice and clean, and then you can look at where your seams are. So I'm looking at that, and I know that this fits in really well, so I can just cut it out as it is. If I needed to add or take a bit, I would do that at this stage. But I'm just looking at this. This is all fine. It's sitting nice and flat. So I'm going to lay out my fabric on the fold and cut around that twice. So now I get hold of the fabric that I'd like to use. I've got this gorgeous bird jersey fabric that I've loved, and I've bought it for my students for when we've been making leggings and things out of stretch. And really I wanted it for myself, but I've been teaching others to use it, and it's been used a bit, and I'm always thinking that I'd really like something made out of that. So that's why I'm doing that today. Because I feel like it. So I'm going to fold this in just on the fold. Now when we're using jersey, if you haven't used jersey before, you need to check your stretch. So I've got the selvage, the edge of the fabric here, and I pull this and I give it a stretch that way. Then I go selvage to selvage the other way. So this time the selvage is along here, and I pull the stretch. I can feel a much bigger stretch now. Okay, so that one I can still feel a stretch, but it's not as great as when I do it this way. I can really feel a big stretch that way. So now I know that when I fold my fabric, I want the stretch to go this way. Okay, and the lesser stretch goes up and down. Alright, so I'm going to place that on the fold, and then I place my top on top of it on the fold, and then I can either chalk around it, or I can just pin it and cut around it. Okay, so if you can see, this is the fold of my fabric here, so the fold is along here. I'll grab my top, I place that on the fold. See that? So the top is placed on the fold here. Make sure that that is all exactly in the fold there. And now I can either pin that through. That's going to be quite thick to pin through, or you can use tailor's chalk and chalk around it and then cut. Okay, so this is going to be on the fold. You leave the fold, alright, so don't cut the fold, just go around, around and around, and then do that again. Alright, so you've got two pieces, one for the front and one for the back. Okay, so I've cut out my pieces now, and so you should have pieces that look like this. Okay, there's my fold line. There, around, and then I've got my sleeves here, so that's my batwing sleeves there. And they're going to, so they'll look like that. Now, one of these is for the back. So the neckline is at the top here, and I won't need to do too much because I will have that neckline on the back there. This one is for my front, and so I know that this is my waist here, okay? So if I go on a straight line up, and even if I look here, if I go on a straight line up, that's to the end of my shoulders. So I need to come in a bit from the end there, okay? Now I just work out if I want it to be a scoop, or if I want it to be a V. I'm just going to do it in a bit of a dip, so a bit of a scoop. And now this is not set in stone, because you can always adjust that later when we try it on. So I'm going to cut out around there. Just done it with a bit of chalk. I'm going to cut around there. Okay, and then if you wanted to check, you could do that right now. It's just going down a bit lower than my chalk at the moment. So I'd probably go a little bit lower, but for now that's absolutely fine. So I lay this back out. Like this. The right sides together, so I get my back now. I haven't adjusted anything on the back. That will just go on a straight line, and I can slightly bring that down if I want to. So I just need to line up the end of the sleeves with each other, and all these around the edge. So now I can start putting this together. Get my pins. Start to get my pins and pins. Now, as I always say, if this is going to be my sewing line, I'm going to pin horizontally to my vertical. So I pin this way, the head well away, the line is here that I'm going to be sewing along, so it's perpendicular to sewing line, okay? So put some pins there to hold that into place. I get the other side here, lashing into place now as well. Nice flat there. Same again, and I start to pin and lay these nice and flat. Whole way around. And whole way around here to the end of the sleeve. So this line, the whole way around there. This line. If you're using jersey, it does like to slide all over the place. So all the way around to here. And then this line until you get to your point where you put your neckline on your front, and then again here, nice and flat, that line there as well. Okay, so if you get pinning there, and then we can get ready to start stitching it up. See you soon. Here then is all pinned together. We've got right sides together, so good sides are inside there, and we're all ready to go. I'm going to sew along this line, and around here, okay? Around. Okay, are we all set to go then? Right, so we're all pinned up, and all we need to do is do those few lines now. Now when I'm sewing jersey, I like to use my overlocker or serger, whatever you call it, because I think it's the best machine for using sewing with stretch fabrics. Now if you don't have one, you can use your normal machine. You just use your, some of them have like an overlocking stitch, so it will do like a little type stitch, or just use a zigzag. But also you could change the needle to a ballpoint needle, and that works a lot better with jersey, okay? It does work if you just use a normal standard needle, but I suggest to use a ballpoint needle. Alright, so let's get those seams sewn up, and once it's sewn around the edges, then we'll come back and we'll have a look, and then we'll look at the fit, and then we'll finish off the edges. Alright? After you've put all your seams together, take your pins out, turn it through, and then try it on. So, I can see that my back is coming in a bit too fine. So but my neckline's actually sewn just fine. Check your sleeve length. Happy? If you're happy, then just leave it as is, or use the hammer. And then check your length as well. So make sure it's the right length. Then just do a little, either a zigzag or an overlock around the edge there, so that you can then take it up into your seam. Okay, so check all your bits to make sure it's right. Trim it if it's not right. So now I've edged all of my seams. The next thing I want to do is just go back to using straight stitch, and I'll fold this up once, and I'll fold it up again. So it's once and once again, and then put a pin in vertical to my horizontal. That nice professional finish. So all the seams, fold it once again, and then just do a straight seam the whole way around. If you haven't used your straight stitch yet, make sure that you put it on a forward needle, okay? So a little bit tedious, but just going around and around each edge. This one, sleeve, and bottom one as well, okay? Okay, so once all of our seams are done, that was a bit of a tedious job, but oh well, and then try it on. I'm quite impressed. And we're done. Well done.